And now, the world's favorite E-grade team, the Blues.
Welcome to the... I don't know what episode I'm up to. I'm just doing what Chinik always does. Welcome to this episode of my podcast. Chinik has no idea what episode he's ever up to. The NBA Finals. Firstly, there's Brad. He's on my right. I don't know where he is going to be on your screen, but he's on my right. We got.
He's there.
That's yeah.
Man, fuck audio listeners who just listen to us going.
So,
Brad's like
he's here. He's here.
He's on
if you
my
get a
screen.
map out, he's about 140 degrees to the left.
I can see Brad. I can see Nathan Chinnick. Hang on, I was going to say Branthony Skavis. That is actually Brad's name today.
oh, cool.
Nathan Chinnick, aka Giannis to Mavs 2020/21. There's Lockstock Lockie Davies, Brow Boy, and there's Mitchell Bossed on Yo Nuts Watson. And there's also me, your host today, King Bean. No,
Connor Herzl.
No, just King Bean from now on.
And firstly, I was going to say, I am disappointed that the Lakers won. So I'd have to put on this jersey to say, like, yeah. But I also got to say one other thing, okay?
Yep. Do tell us, Herzl.
Miami in 9, boys. Let's go.
Oh my
Miami
God.
in 9. It's going down.
For all the people listening,
happening.
Herzl was wearing a Lakers jersey and pulled it off to reveal his Jimmy Butler Miami jersey.
Also,
Absolute king.
Also, for people just listening, we also got a special guest, the Hungry Caterpillar, on Connor's lip.
I thought that was some of his breakfast he left there. I'm also going to do the same as Connor and get out of the Lakers gear. But I'm going to get into Boston stuff and not look as silly about it. So,
Great.
Double thumbs up.
All right.
Fantastic.
So, before we kick off anything else, I'm just going to say, Lockie beat me.
Woo!
He shouted
I was the
about
only one to call Lakers winning, boys.
He tipped it, and he tipped the right amount of games as well.
I think
he
was the only one that could have won that last round, right?
Yeah, it was only me and Lockie. And
No, even if we had have said Lakers won.
I was so far out of it. It was ridiculous.
Mitch could have called me, I think.
Shit.
Oh no,
Well,
Mitch
yeah.
could have called Lockie, but he couldn't have called me.
That's all right.
Actually, no, it was just
This is a
Lockie.
rigged
But
system.
Lockie could catch you.
Lockie,
So
if it was
And
Lakers
team.
in 5, Lakers in 4, Lakers in 7, it would have been a tie. And then, because my team was obviously in the finals, I would have won the tiebreaker.
Did he make it to the
Okay,
finals?
yeah.
Unfortunately,
why? You're spending like 5 minutes talking about how you could have won.
So let's quickly run out. Okay,
Besides
here's
the
what it
point,
is.
you didn't win.
Lockie
So
wins. Lockie won. He finished on 10 points. So Lockie was the number
Lockie
one
gets
being.
the grand prize,
He
which
gets-
is our friendship.
A water bottle.
Yay.
He'll return
Fucking- That is the most garbage prize ever.
No, you got a water
but-
bottle, dude. I won this water bottle about 8 years ago in a Triple M contest.
Oh,
Oh, shit.
I won some other things as well, but this
Tune
is
in for a later episode to see if he actually gets it.
yeah, exactly.
He's not getting it.
Or if he gives it to him and then asks for it back the next day.
I'm actually pretty thirsty, man.
Yeah, hey bro, I'm really gonna need that drink bottle back. I'm
So
sorry.
yeah, so Lockie won. I came second. Mitch third. Chinnick fourth. And you know, nice guys always finish last. Should have known that. Brad came last.
Yeah. I didn't do the pussy decisions. I wanted to be bold.
Ah,
Do
Yeah,
something.
sure. And how'd it pay out?
bold or dumb?
Oh,
That was just rude and uncalled for. But it was kind of accurate.
I'm with
though.
him.
I'm with him. though.
Okay.
I'll stand by that.
So yeah, we'll just go on to the series. We know that the Lakers won. They won
Finals MVP.
6 games. LeBron won Finals MVP, and that's
Shocking.
I think that was some people's disgust as well. Not in terms of like stats and who deserved it, but I think a lot of people wanted Anthony Davis to win it.
Anthony Davis, just plain and simple, just did not do as much as LeBron. like,
Just
What
didn't
are
do
you
what he was
talking
there
about?
for.
look at my background, boys. You put the spotlight in the air. Anthony Davis comes and gives you 30 points a game.
Mate, the ball
And
broke.
6
They
rebounds.
couldn't get the spotlight up. Fucking... Did LeBron average more boards than him for the finals?
Yeah, I think so.
Had to have. Yeah,
Would have, yeah.
100%.
I think
But
he had
it
more
didn't matter
points
in
as
the end.
well.
Did not
Yeah.
matter in the end.
More
Let's talk
points,
about it.
more rebounds, more assists, but no, AD was robbed.
No, definitely well deserved by LeBron. Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
do we think that's the worst supporting cast LeBron's had?
No.
Oh no, some of those early Cleveland teams had.
The early Cleveland teams. The second run with Cleveland, I think, is just one of the. He had really good supporting cast there, and people really shit on it. They even shit on the sort of the last ones he had where he couldn't get past the Eastern Conference Finals with Mo Williams and all that stuff, which was like Ilgauskas and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they were all
Big
pretty
Z.
nice as well. He's always had. This is like the thing where LeBron is very fortunate. He's always had the pick and choose of his teammates, so he's always had a good supporting cast. This one was good.
Oh,
This one was good, but they didn't perform.
they just shit the bed, didn't they?
They shit the
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah.
They shit the bed, and the fact that he was lucky enough to have an AD on his team as well, which is where I think people get a lot of he should be the MVP. He could genuinely fall back on Anthony Davis this series, which was awesome.
In saying that, though, I don't think he did. Like, he was the driving force of them winning this
Oh,
championship.
absolutely.
Well and truly, right?
Absolutely. Oh, every game. I think there was sort of one game where you could kind of go, was Anthony Davis the best on the team?
Yeah.
And
it was
then-
questionable,
Game,
right?
you're like, no,
He was questionable.
The 2 games that Miami won, AD was no good. He was nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you ask ESPN, Anthony Davis led the Lakers to the win. So
Yeah, they just
So
posted
he-
about him.
every time the Lakers won, they posted like Anthony Davis leads them to a 2-1 lead. No, they didn't. They haven't done shit. He's not He's playing, but he's not leading them.
And when Heat won, it was Heat shut down LeBron. It's like, oh, they didn't really. He still had like 30, 15,
Yeah,
and
so
15.
his
He
LeBron's
still played
numbers.
well. It's just
LeBron was 1 point shy of averaging 30 points a game. So he was 29.8 points, 11.8 rebounds, and 8.5 assists,
That's insane.
as well as over a steal and half a block a game.
not bad for how old he is.
Who else could do that at what, like 35 years old?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Not many people could do that much younger either.
Exactly.
That is also
Right.
true.
That's insane.
I want to talk about probably the best part of the whole finals. Game 5. I had to remember which game it was. Game 5. The winning shot from Danny Green. What an awesome
I feel so
3-point
bad
shot.
for him, man. And
It
That-
wasn't even
pass.
him.
I feel bad because it was not
Him?
like anyone would have taken that shot, right?
Yeah,
Like,
everyone should take that shot.
That's the shot. If you play basketball, that's the shot you dream of taking since you start playing. Like,
Yeah.
you're down 5 seconds left on the buzzer. You're in the NBA Finals, shot to win it, and then much like I did, like I would brick it, and you get it back, and you go, "The refs have added 5 seconds to the clock. He's got another shot." But
I think the most like devastating thing about that shot was that's the reason he gets paid in the NBA is to
That's
hit
the thing,
that
yeah.
open three. And so I think I think they are.
that's kind of why people shat on him afterwards.
Yeah, I think he was really close to. If Heat win that series, that's the point where you go, shit. Danny Green lives on forever in the most negative way possible,
Yeah,
and so
right.
does whatever Morris was playing. He
what
also
about
will
that
live on.
pass at the end there? Like I could
Was
see
it a
what he was
pass?
doing. You could tell he was trying to put it over for AD
Yeah,
to do
over
that
the
little
top,
drop step and catch it just in front of him. But it was just so poorly calculated.
I think
Really?
the thing is when you throw those lobs, I think the first thing you need to do is have eye contact, and
With the
Anthony
big,
Davis
yeah.
wasn't even looking at the ball at that
No,
time. Hence
no.
why I didn't roll or attempt. It was
It's
just
just poorly
shat the
planned.
bed.
Oh,
You go, Hertel.
just on that pass, he had KCP in the near side corner. He
That
had
was
someone on
Danny.
him.
Danny had
No,
KCP.
so he had KCP. No, Morrison had the ball. He had KCP there. He was
Yeah.
not wide open, but he enough to give him the ball. Danny
Yeah.
Green directly behind him, where he could just go, "Here you go."
And
And,
one
and
LeBron
then
James.
LeBron
I was gonna
James,
say
wide open by
the
himself.
underrated
that was something
underdog.
that I
LeBron
found
James.
very, very disappointing almost was that so many people were shitting on LeBron for not taking that shot and like for passing it and then going, oh, you know, MJ would have taken that shot, Kobe would have taken that shot, blah blah blah. When there's
But they
instances where Jordan and Kobe literally
Yeah,
like
what?
have thrown that
Arguably
pass.
one of the best moments of Michael Jordan's career when he hits
Yeah.
Paxton on the tip,
And then did it with Steve Kerr again,
and then did it with Steve Kerr again. But
right?
like,
And
yeah,
And
it's
like
just
one of the greatest basketball moments of all time is when Troy Bolton passes it to Rocket
know.
Man and
Oh
gets it
my
in for the game-winning
God.
shot. Like,
Hey. But
you know, who wouldn't?
I think that's so unfair on LeBron because the pass he threw was one incredible to hit a person on the tip with four people on you over like with a little turn over your head from that far away with your momentum going the other way. A lot of people don't realize the amount of strength when your body's going right and you're trying to throw it one-handed left that far. It's just nuts.
There was this shot, and I remember it was when he was in Miami and he was playing against Celtics rather, and same thing. He got shut on, and the role player missed the shot.
Yeah.
He like drove baseline wide open, and then Eddie House was in the corner for three. I'm pretty sure it was Eddie House in the corner for three, and piffed it out to him. Wide open shot, the best shot you can get. It rattled out. It was a lot closer than what Danny Green's was, but
Yeah.
LeBron took the slack for that. It's like what are we giving him the slack for? Making a really
I was
genuine,
going to say making
good pass.
the smart play, right?
It's a good play, and there are so many like things you can compare LeBron and Jordan with, but things like that you can't really compare because that's the smart basketballers making smart plays. There are so many. If you want to argue about LeBron versus Michael Jordan, there are some good arguments to make. That's not one of them.
No way at all.
Because we can say all day all the like LeBron haters, and I'm a professional LeBron hater. You cannot say he does not make the right decision 99% of the time.
100%.
Yeah, if
He
he goes
is
and takes
on.
that shot and he likely misses with four blokes on him, but LeBron could probably hit it anyway. He's a good player.
Yeah, right.
But like with four blokes on him, you're going to back the defenders most times, and people are going to say Danny Green was wide open. Why didn't you pass to him? He's going to cop it
100%.
just as much. Like
no matter what, there is some irrational, hate of LeBron James, and you can't fault him for that.
The people guarding him are four pretty decent defenders as well.
Yeah.
It was Jimmy Bam, right? It was Jimmy and Bam.
Jimmy and Bam would have been there. I can't remember exactly, but Iggy was probably on the floor as well.
It's just all credit to LeBron for this championship.
I mean,
Seriously, that's-
LeBron, it was amazing watching LeBron from the perimeter this series. He was
man.
dead eye from three, and it was scary.
I think he shot
think it was
over
game-
40%.
Let me get my stats up. Let me call my stats, man. I think it was
Look at
game
my
4
stats, man.
He shot
where
41%.
he hit like four or five threes, maybe even like 6 threes. And it was just like so different to a lot of the other games where people went, "Oh shit, we still have to guard him everywhere."
Yeah,
Like, and that's what makes him so good, isn't it?
insane.
Like, you just
Yeah.
always have to be switched on.
And its ability, like the great thing about LeBron, I talk about, like, and I think I've talked about it lots on this podcast, is the scouting of all your players. But you got someone like LeBron, you can have the best game plan, and this is with all the greats. This is what separates, your Chris Middletons from Giannis's. You can have the best game plan in the world, and you can't stop them. You can contain them to a certain extent, but
So real quick, it was. Oh, sorry. You go.
You go.
I thought there was a break. Sorry. So yeah, it was that 40-point game. It was game 5. He shot 6 from 9 from 3. So I just figured I'd actually get the stat up really quick. Sorry, but keep going. That was my bad. I thought it was a break. Sorry.
No. I just think it's so impressive. This is definitely LeBron's third and final change of his career, but he went from a complete athlete and an athlete only to become, got shat on for not having a post game in Miami, and probably one of the best post performers in Miami, in the whole league. Worked with Hakeem a lot, learned how to post up, and Kobe even, and then he's gone to, Cleveland and then Lakers. I'll, sort of pair that in together, and he's learned to shoot, or as he can't stay in the league. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's absolutely changed his game 3 times completely, with also keeping that athleticism.
He's very good at evolving with the game. LeBron.
Massively, man.
Yeah.
There's that one thing he did, one highlight of his from this year, after there was like a Zion dunk against the Pelicans, and he just came up and pulled up from like a foot inside the half court, and just like LeBron's already got like all these tools, and now he's pulling up from Curry range, and you're like, how How's this man doing that? It's nuts, man. He's just
Scary.
built differently.
Look at Curry, man.
Look at Curry.
Yeah.
He's the only person that I can. Well, he's not the only person, but he's one of the definitely the most high-profile person that is so underrated, but yet he's like the top 2 players of all time. It's nuts how much people can still shit on him. But
Yeah,
speaking of the overrated, and like I don't like him personally, but he's top 2 of all time. Can't
Yeah,
change it.
100%.
I don't think he's the best basketball player of all time. I think he's the best athlete of all time. But speaking of overrated, underrated, what do we think of Anthony Davis and the clout that he's getting after this win? Not winning the MVP, but getting the win. There's lots of outlandish things that I have seen on very official sites like ESPN and NBA that even like Bleacher Report to disgusting things like he is the top 3 power forward of all time.
I saw
That's a
thing
really
on,
bad call.
I think it might have been Twitter, where people were saying he was better than Tim Duncan, and then everyone was like, everyone in the comments and stuff of it were like agreeing with it, and I'm sitting there going, what?
Does Tim Duncan have 5 rings and he got one in like his 3rd season, second season?
He's
Dude.
rookie season.
Rookie season. That's
How many depoys did he have? And fuck, oh dude, it's just
Tim Duncan is one of the best, and this is where it really pisses me off with stat. We're following someone on Instagram that's woeful and just compares Russell Westbrook to everyone, and how's anyone better than Russell Westbrook when Westbrook's got 12 rebounds, 12 assists, and 35 points a game. Michael Jordan couldn't get to those numbers. It's like, yeah, I'm still picking Tim Duncan, who averaged 16 and 9 every single time, because he can facilitate whatever he wants. He's pretty much Jokic sort of without the elite vision, but he's got elite scoring, but doesn't need to use it all the time. It's pump the brakes on that. If he wins another 4, we can definitely have this discussion.
I was gonna say, then he can talk about it.
Yeah, Timmy's got 3. I mean, Timmy's got 5. Like,
Even
not
like
even in that category.
even just and then they start comparing to Dirk, and like Dirk, he only won the 1, didn't he, or 2? He got the 1.
he won the 1, but he won against possibly the
But
best
I
team
was
any
gonna
of
say,
us have ever
that
seen.
1 is fucking nuts, and his supporting cast was.
Yeah, you want to talk about supporting cast?
right.
He had a really
Like,
smart Jason
old
Kidd
man
that couldn't
Jason
really
Kidd.
run.
How old is
Jason
he?
Kidd.
Like 37 when that happened? Like,
It's fair.
Yeah,
Old
it'd have to
man
be
Jason
close.
Kidd.
Very nuts.
Old Dirk, like it wasn't a young Dirk either. That was late career
and then
Dirk.
Dirk played from like 8 years after that, but it was still old man Dirk.
Yeah,
Right.
I'll look up Dirk.
and that team, that supporting cast, that very very average supporting cast, held LeBron to 17 points a game. That
Jeez.
whole series.
But just on that Anthony Davis point, I definitely think it adds to his sort of like his resume of basketball. And I think it definitely, like, you can't say that he wasn't a key part in this championship.
You cannot say that at all.
Right? You
I
can't
think
knock
the
him at
difference
all.
with the other top 5, top 10 power forwards is they've led their team to
Exactly.
this point.
Yeah.
When he was leading their team, they got 8th seed 2 or 3 times.
It'll be very interesting. I think he's going to learn a lot from winning. And I think just being surrounded by LeBron and stuff. And I think there's a lot of talks of them trying to go back to back. But just being surrounded by LeBron and the way that LeBron is with training and mental game and all that, I think it'll be massive for him. I think, but just NBA fans are just so quick to jump to these conclusions when one thing happens. And
AD's such a big target of this like bias that's like, we're living in a day and age where, we've got stars, but nothing like, Jordan. So everyone's looking for the next big guy. And as soon as someone has a big performance, throw them up in the top 5 of all time, sort of thing.
100%. Yeah.
And AD's putting up good numbers, but is he a top 5 or even top 10 power forward?
I could comfortably put him top 20 to 15. I would be comfortable with that. But even that, his placement, like he's got to beat out.
Like, you think top 20 all time?
Power forwards.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
okay.
power forwards.
My jaw hit the floor.
Probably most realistically, he's got a fair few years left. He's gonna finish probably top 10 comfortably.
Yeah, well, this is he's how old he is now is how old LeBron was when he got his first title. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So he's probably got lots, and he's lucky enough to be in Lakers. It looks like news hit today that he's going to be,
I like it.
he's going to be a Laker for another year. He's going to opt out,
Gonna
re-sign.
opt out, re-sign, yeah.
That's good.
There was also lots of news again this year, today, about them possibly not bringing back your Rondos and stuff and chasing Chris Paul. So making that work to get Chris Paul and maybe the banana boat crew back.
I've got an idea. Get rid of Kuzma.
Kuzma's probably
Literally
almost
anyone
gone.
I'm sorry, but
I
I would get rid of
say.
the king.
King Kuz.
The King Kuz.
There's only one king in LA, and it's not LeBron.
It's Quinn Cook.
Quinn
I
Cook.
think
He's playing for Orlando by default now.
Do you guys feel like
Still there.
just while we're talking about Lakers, do you feel like anyone really did have an out there performance apart from AD and LeBron?
I don't know if I'd call it an out there performance, but I think Rondo was a pleasant
Yeah.
surprise
He was
for everyone.
knocking down shots.
Yeah, he played.
Doc
well.
Rivers would have 10 rings if he was knocking down shots like that when he was in Boston.
Closest I've seen to vintage Rondo, like to Boston Rondo. Like I know,
absolutely.
I think it was it Dallas he went to after Boston?
Sacramento, maybe?
He was on.
Sacramento?
Chicago.
He
Those
played
were the
for
two I was
Chicago.
between.
he on
He
Pels?
played for Chicago, Pelicans.
Yeah,
I think
he
it was
on Pelicans
fucking
with
everyone.
AD.
Oh, I think it was the Dallas days that I was like, oh, this is kind of close. But it was this finals where I went, okay, Rondo's still like got it,
Got it.
like
And he's-
mentally, and like because he had a few 20-point games and stuff like that, and but like his assist numbers were just there, and it just shows like what Brad has mentioned multiple times is that those veteran guards that use their voice just make teams so much better.
If he's not a coach, I'm gonna be so surprised.
yeah,
I
I
right.
was
He
going to
could-
say,
he's
what
a-
do you think about him coaching? Do you
Yeah.
think that would happen?
But do you think he's got the? Because he
Don't know if he'll want
he's
to.
had that locker room cancer stigma.
I mean,
Yeah,
So
I
does
think-
Jimmy, but that's obviously bullshit.
yeah.
Like a locker
It's
room
hard-
cancer in like
Dwight.
from the media perspective is a lot different to a locker room cancer from an NBA perspective because teams
Yeah,
know
right.
what actually goes on inside. Whereas a player, if like the media sees he's gone like a good player like Rondo or Jimmy or Dwight, they go from
Yeah.
team to team. They just get labelled as a cancer because they think, well, it
'Cause
must be
there's gotta be
something
a
going
reason.
on.
Yeah.
It just
and when
yeah, it just
76ers
happens some-
they didn't sort of just match his energy. At Timberwolves, they definitely didn't match his
Yeah.
energy. That was
They didn't want
I-
to win. That's the problem. They
such
don't
a
care
good
enough.
shitstorm to have, and I think Jimmy now going so far with the team that he wanted to go with, because I think he wanted to be Miami before he changed from Bulls. I think it was like Miami
So-
was kind of always in his sights.
I think he was pretty decent mates with D Wade in Chicago.
Yeah.
That's a big factor for it, I think.
Oh, that makes sense, and I think that the fact that he got that far, if you're Minnesota Timberwolves, you're going shit. It's us who's got the problem.
Yeah, it's Cat. It's
Cat.
Wiggins. I don't know about. I think it's more Cat to be honest. I just don't
think
think
it is
he's
Cat.
got the
I don't know
drive
if
to
you can,
win as much, but he's still
I
young.
think it's
so-
more the organisation, if you ask me.
They're not.
Like obviously, like you can put it a lot on Cat, but like Cat's balling out. Like he has been balling out. He
Well,
might not be a leader, but if he's not a leader, that's on the organisation to bring someone else in to lead. You know what I
or
mean?
have a strong enough
That's what they're
coach,
there for.
And yeah, they brought Jimmy in. What was that, Brad? Sorry.
and having a strong enough coach as well. Like they had Tom Thibodeau and kind of gave up
Exactly.
really quick.
So yes, I
He's
don't.
only 24.
I know Cat gets a lot of flack and all that for what's happening at Timberwolves, but I don't think he's purely to blame. And I think it's
No,
going to
not
be
at all.
really fun to watch him and D'Angelo play another season. And if they get D-Book for this pick, a little tradey trade.
Trade.
The closer we get to the draft, the more I'm thinking that D'Lo might not be a long-term plan for Timberwolves because they're
Really?
either drafting Melo, and like they're either getting Melo or whatever his name is,
Anthony
Edwards. They're very, very ball heavy.
Yeah.
D'Lo's not touching the ball, so either they trade down, and maybe go 4th, 5th pick and get your wing players.
Denny.
What wing players are in this draft?
Go and say it, Herzl. I can't
Denny
say him.
Avdia.
He's pretty ball heavy though, isn't he?
Yeah, that's
But
the
he's
thing.
he's facilitating,
he's
which
facilitating
D'Lo
off the
likes to
wing.
play with.
I think Isaac Okoro is another one who
Yeah.
is a decent I'll just open up my mock draft, which is coming soon for everyone else.
Oh.
So we got Isaac Okoro, Sadiq Bey. He's probably going to slide to around 9, I reckon.
Yeah.
But he is honestly one of the most exciting players in the draft.
Really?
Yeah. Tyrese Halliburton as well. I've got him. Most mock drafts have him like around like 6 or 7. I think he might drop to around 10, but he again is like almost a point, but he can hit a deep three.
That's massive. I think because we're going to talk a little bit about off-season this podcast, aren't we? Is that the plan?
You can do a little bit at the end.
But
Sure.
but
Yeah.
before we get deep into it, and while we're still half on the Jimmy thing, what do we think this finals run does for Jimmy as a player, for reputation, for where he goes from here? What do we see? What do we think?
Before Herzl goes on an hour rant about Jimmy Butler, I'll say personally, watching him in the finals compared to him in just the playoffs, he took more of a leader mentality because after game 1, they're missing 2 of the players that he could fall back on. So he kind of fell into that, like he was already a leader, but he fell into more of a leader position because he kind of had no choice. It was like he needed to lead those not lesser players, but technically yes.
More of a
but,
lead by example role as opposed
yeah,
to
basically. So like be like, I'm gonna play well. You guys just back me up and play well as well, and they did. And that's the thing, is that they were more balanced. Where like on Lakers, you've got AD and LeBron fucking balling out and like scoring 30 each.
You need talent to beat that kind of
Yeah.
Yeah, and then on Heat, you've got like, you know, even if Jimmy only scored 25, you had like Hero would score like 15, and then Duncan Robinson scored like 20 once, I think, and like, you know, everyone
they
sort
all
of held their own, rather than Lakers where like Caruso gets 3 points, Kuzma gets 5 points. Like,
Did he have a
it's
0
not-
point game, Kuzma? I think he might have.
I think he
Didn't
did
surprise me.
just
King
one.
Kuzma.
Or it was like a 2-point game.
I think the most important thing about Jimmy Butler's performance now and how much of a dog he is, people are going to want to play with him now.
Yeah,
So
that's-
Pat Riley's just watched Jimmy Butler set up the next 4 years.
100%.
That's
right.
4 years of planning done. It's your best bargaining chip for when eventually you get to have
maybe
possibly
Giannis,
have
like,
Giannis,
Yeah.
maybe
trying to, like-
Giannis, maybe someone else.
Yeah.
It's not
No, Giannis is coming to the Mavs.
maybe
Sorry.
Bradley Beal. That's someone else
Golden
there.
State, baby.
They tried to go at, I think, with
Oh,
Beal. They were trying to trade for him before he signed.
if you could swap Bill for Middleton, 1, drastic improvement. 2, Giannis has a lot more room consistently,
yeah,
Yeah.
and you've got a bit of a ball handler too. Like
That's scary.
not,
Already need
not the best,
consistency.
but a very solid ball handler.
Well,
Leg
how
season.
Herzl? Who would they be trading for Giannis from Heat?
Free agency.
Secondly, how do you think he would fit into the current lineup?
I don't think they wouldn't go after him this year. I don't think they could without giving up Bam or Hero or someone like that, which I think they've shown like they really don't want to do that.
They work together so well.
Yeah.
That's one thing about Heat. They all work together. Like
And they-
every game, you could see them all like thinking the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
Like they were so in sync with each other.
Better
and
to
they've
wait for Heat.
Set themselves up
Mm.
for a chance to run at a 2021 free agency. When potentially Kawhi as well is hitting the market again
And that I'm pretty sure that leaves room for Adebayo,
to Max as well.
get him max as well, but still have room. So they're going to have the 3 max slots taken.
Yeah,
Pat Riley, wow.
he's the Godfather.
He's
But
all time.
do we think? I don't know if you guys can. Like, I already knew Jimmy Butler, right, was an elite defender.
I knew Jimmy Butler. Like we
Yeah.
Yeah, like
texting.
go out
like-
for coffee every other weekend.
Like we knew Jimmy Butler was an elite scorer and a top tier defender in the league. Like we knew that he had that in his bag. But I was really surprised by his playmaking ability. I don't know if anyone else was surprised by that, just in the sense that he was coming out and having these 11, 12 assist games
Yeah,
consistently though.
yeah. I I can't say I realised how good of a playmaker he was.
Like, I knew he could, but like at that level was
Yeah,
surprising
like
for
to
me.
go at. I think before the last game he was going at a double and like
Yeah.
I'll have a look what his stats were. I think he averaged around 9 assists at the end of the season, end of the series.
But
Which
Brad,
is-
as the old head of the league,
Yep.
were you surprised by that, or is this sort of something that
I
you've sort of known?
I think it's he had to score this off season. I think just the better he scored, he's smart enough. He's got one of the better, especially defensively. But I didn't realize this good offensively. The better he was scoring, the more everyone else opened up for him, and he clicked onto that first quarter when he started to pop off.
Yeah.
That when he needed to, and he was just so efficient. He didn't get heaps of turnovers either. I think he might have one game, but
Scored very efficiently.
there was one game where him, AD, and LeBron all had like 5+
yeah,
each.
I think it just speaks to his basketball mind that he realized how much people were guarding him to then kick it off.
I think he had 5 more steals than he had fouls in the 6-game series. That's an
nuts.
effort to have more steals and fouls. Is just nuts.
Just talking on what you were saying, Brad, how you said, like it just speaks to his basketball mind in sense of like knowing what he's guarding and stuff. Just adding to that is he always shoots or generally shoots very efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
Like he
gets real close to the basket and
loves to get
very rarely
70%.
free throws.
Like, yeah, right. Loves that mid range. Very MJ and Kobe mid range, little turnaround fade, Brad.
At the start of the season too, I would have ranked so many small forwards above Jimmy. I would have ranked DeMar over him.
Yeah.
I would have ranked like a handful of people now that would just make you look silly. But do we think Jimmy is a top 10 player? This is hard. I tried to think about it today. Really think about it. Is he a top 10 player?
I reckon that if this off-season at least proved that he's got to be in the discussion for it. I don't know if it gives him like a solid place, but he's got to be up there at least.
We could do like a quick yes and no. Is he like better than Jokic?
Nah. I'm gonna say no.
Is he better than Tatum?
Yeah.
LeBron probably not.
Nah.
No. AD. Argue. Is Mitch frozen for everyone else as well?
Yeah, I was about to say.
He's-
I was more focused on frozen Mitch.
Here's my call for Jimmy Butler, alright? I think he's finally found a team where he can play how he wants to play and play comfortably with the people around him. And that's why he's, knocking up all those assists, for example.
Yeah.
He's got people he actually trusts to fall back on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we've lost Mitch. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But
We lost
He's
Mitch
gone.
like the
we are
Celtics
experiencing
lost him.
technical difficulties. We'll be right back. Honestly, so I'm just thinking like players that you can almost definitely say are better than Jimmy. So you got LeBron, you got Giannis, you got
AD,
yeah,
Kyle Kuzma.
yeah. So you got
Alex Caruso.
fuck up. Yeah, LeBron, Giannis, AD, Jokic, Curry, Harden, Luka.
He's struggling to get into the top 10, but he's comfortably on the edge. I would say.
Yeah.
He's top
comfortably
15.
on the
Top
edge.
15.
Oh, Kawhi, sorry, he's another one that's up there in the top 10.
Why? I wouldn't chuck Paul George over him.
No,
No
not
chance.
after the playoff. In terms of just talent and like what they have done in the past, you would. But this year, Paul George he was stinky all year.
He went from a top 3 MVP player to
Yeah, when you play with Kawhi Leonard, you're probably going to do that though. You're not going to go from top 3 MVP to but you're going to go from top 3 MVP to probably not being a top 5, like not even consideration because of scoring.
not even at all. I think speaking as Lakers as a whole, I don't know. I think Mitch is back. But speaking to Lakers as a whole, do we think they dodged some bullets in this playoffs? So they didn't get to play a full strength
Still
Blazers.
recording there.
But did they dodge a bullet? Did they dodge a bullet there?
I think they had it covered anyway.
I think they had it covered. I think it would have been harder.
Yeah, they dodged a bullet. I mean, you can't really say they dodged a bullet with the Rockets. Except
Rockets, I think, is the easiest win out of all.
That
of
was
these.
just a bad everything, I guess. Like they're just not a great organization at the moment. The Rockets.
No.
And he's
Hi,
back.
Mitch.
Mitch is back.
That's good.
We are no longer experiencing technical difficulties.
No, the Wi-Fi just died.
That's cool. What we were saying is, we were talking about sort of the Lakers dodging bullets, and do we think that they genuinely dodged some bullets?
Injuries, like the Miami injuries and stuff.
If Jimmy Butler comes out with a gun, right,
and
and just starts
bang,
fucking
bang,
bam, 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 bam. How well do they dodge
he's actually
it?
inside
LeBron,
the gun
pretty fast. He would dodge it. AD, I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. He'd probably like dodge it, but then pretend like he got hurt, and then like come
tries
back
to
like
catch it with his hand.
So is it actually just in terms of the Miami injuries, or
No.
and
So
also-
sort of the first series with the Blazers, did they dodge a fully strength Damien? We were saying that they had it covered, but it was a lot easier
I was
job.
going to say, I think it was quite fortunate that Dame was coming off that series prior.
I do think they played well in their playoffs series, though. Like all of them, they played really
absolutely.
well.
I think the Rockets was the best example of them at full strength as well, because I don't think they're full strength in that the final series as far as role players. But in the Rockets series, they looked really nice in that series.
I feel like in the playoffs they had more consistency across their entire lineup.
Yeah,
Whereas
and then
they
you've
didn't
got
have that in the finals.
And I felt like the refs bailed them out a lot in the Denver series.
You
I know
reckon?
people don't. I think Jokic was just off the floor way too much.
Yeah.
For very 50-50 calls, too often, and I feel like that really determined the workload of Jamal Murray, which was ultimately their downfall in the end. I think that's. I still think they would have had it,
there's an arm there.
but I think they would have been a lot more tied in the finals, which Miami were tied in the finals because they battled every single series except for the first one. They really battled. To get through.
And the second one, in a sense, they didn't really battle against the Bucks, but they didn't win the games. All the games they won in the Eastern Conference Finals and in the semis as well.
They dodged a Giannis too.
One, I think. I think they blew out the Bucks in one of the games, but then the rest of the other three of their wins, and then all four in the Celtics game were all close games.
I think that the only thing I'm really disappointed with is the Lakers winning this championship is that they dodged the Clippers. That's the one thing that I really just wanted to see.
Really good to see, but that's just.
I just wish that Dragic was healthy. I think we're seeing a massively different.
I would have loved there to be a home Miami crowd there for when Dragic checked in the finals. Like that would have been.
Yeah.
It's been so hard for Miami crowds to boo LeBron.
You'd struggle.
And I think another thing, especially with Game 6, when they tried to integrate Dragic back, I feel like that was really their downfall for that series. I feel like it was a bit too planned for Dragic to come back and be a part of the offense efficiently. I don't think...
Yeah, it's hard to come back in.
It felt really like, oh, now we're disjointed. Oh, shit, we're down 20. Oh, fuck, it's 30 now. Uh-oh.
That was just too early.
They had 4 games without him.
Yeah.
So, they kind of fell into that rhythm, and then you try to throw it all.
I think that was the first thing in the chat, too, that we all said has gone, they're going to have to change what's working.
Get to watch the game,
do you think it was just he wasn't healthy yet?
I think the game was almost calm at the time Dragic even checked in, to be honest. The Lakers
exhausted.
In Game 6 played near perfect basketball, and there was nothing you could do to stop such a perfect team game if LeBron is on the floor on the other team. Like even if Miami had played their best possible game, they could not have stopped LeBron and a perfectly run Lakers.
Yeah.
Because Rondo had how many, like 20 odd points or something, and he was knocking
Yeah.
down threes. He looked dangerous from the perimeter, and like
And yeah,
it's hard to stop that.
Another thing, like in that last game, I think Frank Vogel's defensive plans really shone brighter than they had previously in any of the games. His defensive rotations and stuff, and what they were doing with Jimmy, and they pretty much said, "We don't trust your other guys." Is pretty much how they played that last game, and it was kind of worked. And the game plan was to disrupt Jimmy as early as possible, because I think Jimmy's a really rhythm-based player. So taking away the rhythm first, and then
I think on the offensive end at least, I'd agree
Yeah.
with that. Defensively,
Yeah.
I think he'll
Do his thing most
He's pretty
nights.
consistent, whether
you've
he's in
just got to
rhythm or
weather
not.
the storm. Weather
Yeah.
the storm offensively with Jimmy.
Yeah.
If you're playing, against him. But all caps off to Miami Heat. They killed it.
Exceeded every expectation.
And not
100%.
even just like by a mile, country mile.
Like at the start of the season, I think it was everyone pretty much said it's going to be the Bucks because they were the Eastern Conference Final champions if it wasn't for Kawhi being in the East.
Yeah.
Like they got past Boston pretty easily, and it pretty much like consensus thought that like they're gonna get through the first round easy as you like straight away, which is what they did anyway. And it was just like as long as Giannis can just take him through to the finals, which he should have. Like the general consensus was he was going to do that. It was going to be the Bucks in the finals, or maybe Philly, and both of them were disappointing.
Mm.
And that helped. That opened the door for Boston and Miami and Toronto, who also sort of they were slightly disappointing. Mainly Siakam was disappointing in the playoffs, but it was really like poor performances from who you weren't expecting to have poor performances. Really opened the door for, and you can't do that with Jimmy Butler though. You can't open the door for him because he showed
It's where he thrives.
Yeah, especially like with the third string lineup he had with that in that infamous T-Wolves training session. Like he loves being the underdog.
That's going to go down in history of one of the biggest exposures of a bad team to the underrated Jimmy Butler. That's going to be like one of the key parts in the Jimmy Butler story now, and how he went on to Miami and killed it. For the finals, I got a little bit of a true or false little
Trivia.
Not a trivia, just like if you guys agree or not. These are statements that I've seen thrown around. I was like, let me list all these down. There's only 10. Let's list all these down, and everyone gives us a quick true or false. So they're statements, they're not questions. You have to say true or false. Everyone can have a
Well,
turn.
like if we agree or disagree.
Agree or disagree, absolutely. So the first one is AD is officially the best big man in today's NBA.
False.
True or false?
False. Come on.
False.
Come on.
I say false too, but who's number one? Number one big man.
Jokic. By the length of the Flemington Strait.
Yep.
That far, and then Embiid.
Embiid on a good night.
Kristaps is up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him up there yet. I'll probably put AD over Kristaps for now.
No, but I put him in. I put Kristaps top 10 at least.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Another one, Cat. I know people don't like him. He's not leading the team.
I'm not sold on Cat yet.
He
talented.
can play
He's
basketball.
You know what?
Yeah, that's
He's very similar to AD when he was with the Pelicans. He couldn't really. AD couldn't win. Like the only season where the Pelicans looked dangerous was when they had a healthy Boogie Cousins next to AD.
And that was a Rondo-led team as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Hertel, let me ask you this then. If it was Cat that got traded to Lakers instead of AD, would the Lakers have won this championship?
Yeah.
Yep.
10 million
Definitely.
percent. 10 million
They're
percent.
the same player. They're literally the same player. Just Cat's like a couple of years younger.
And also just one that didn't get mentioned, Bam Adebayo.
Yeah, of course.
Who? If you're building a team, who are you taking? Bam or AD?
It's
Bam.
hard because Bam's so early in his career, you don't know
Right.
his.
Ceiling in it. But
That's
AD's
true.
just got that
I
consistent
think
shot
you know
already.
where you're going to get with AD. So you'd probably say AD because you know he can space a 4 better than Bam.
Yeah.
And if you want a
Um,
bit of spice, you go Bam.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of
All right.
spice.
Here's another one. We mentioned him before. DeMarcus Cousins deserves a ring.
So for this season,
I
I'd
don't
say
even. No.
he doesn't deserve one for this
How many
season.
So
games did
it's-
he play this year?
Did he?
Did none.
Yeah,
tore
12.
his-
No.
Then
Legs.
no.
grow
if you
up.
don't play, then no.
Like, I understand you got injured. And I think if you had played, like, even 20 games, I'd be like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, if you helped him win 20 games.
You're still part of a team.
But if you don't play a single game, you can't. Like, I'm sorry,
Right.
it's unfortunate you got hurt, but
There are about 5 Lakers I don't think deserved one. And one
you-
honourable mention, Kuzma.
Talent
Jesus
Horton
Christ.
Did you
Tucker.
like? Did
Who?
you see Meta World Peace's response to it?
Oh, no.
He's
Yes.
like, yeah, I just rolled. I'd like smoked a joint or 10 in celebration. It felt like mine too.
yeah, right?
I'm like, it's not though. But
I just need to bring up really quick. You can something that I loved about this was AD's sort of celebration in terms of how, like, when the actual game was finishing and stuff. Like, he was legitimately like in tears and stuff. You could see the raw
It
emotion.
was good.
Because,
Yeah.
like, he
And for
actually
Kobe,
worked so
as
hard
well.
for it.
Kobe would have just hit him really hard as well.
Yeah, right. And
Um,
but then you see Jared Dudley talking on Instagram like,
Oh,
"We going
I
back
love
to back,
that.
baby. This is my
Oh,
ring. This is my
God.
ring." Like,
Yeah.
here's another one.
The
Probably
Lakers might go
undeserved
back to
ring.
back, but he's not.
Yeah, right. No way he gets
Uh,
another contract.
the only
Alan
only
Moffat.
player that didn't deserve one that I thought was still funny was Giannis's little brother.
Yeah, Costas, baby.
At least Costas got in some games.
The video,
Got a few
Yeah, right.
highlights.
or it was on an Instagram live when
Couple high
JaVale
fives.
McGee posted it, and he's like, "Hey, you got one before your brother."
Costas getting a ring before Giannis is the key example of rings don't make an MVP player, like the best player
Yeah,
of all
right.
time.
Well,
You don't
And,
count
Patrick
rings.
Patrick McCaw's never lost in the finals.
No,
But
still
here's-
3-0. All right, this one
Neither
is
have I, Connor. I haven't lost in the finals.
this one's very Connor related. Jimmy Butler 100% gets his jersey retired in Miami.
After one season, yes.
For one season,
I'm saying
I think
yes.
I think yes too. I reckon true. This is very
I think
Kevin
it's
Durant.
It won't just be one season. He's there for his contract's like 3+1, I think, or just 4 flat.
3+1.
I'm not sure. Probably 3+1.
But he's done the same thing as Kevin Durant did. Changed the culture immediately
Yes.
and became a legend immediately.
Yeah, he's. I don't know if he like retired right now, you'd say his jersey is retired.
No,
But
for any team. Not
No,
even
he's-
for Chicago.
no, he's getting there though. He's 22. Will be
If
retired.
he does
by the
that,
Miami
if he
Heat
does what he
at the
did
end of his
this
career.
year again, if he does what he did like this year again next year, I'd say.
I reckon if he
100%.
just stays there
Takes him
4
into the-
years,
deep into the playoffs, like not like if they get to the Eastern Conference Finals another time, and then like another, maybe like just like semis or a couple of times, I think he's done enough. Then, as long as he's kept the culture, like as long as he's not made it like a
Exactly.
toxic environment, which I don't think he
Yeah.
will, because that's
Locker room cancer.
oh no, he's
Um,
gonna take us to the finals again.
the next one is also Miami related, and we've kind of talked on it a bit, but integrating Dragic cost Miami the title.
I don't think
No.
you'd say
No,
I reckon that's false. I reckon
don't
that's
agree
false.
with that. I don't agree.
losing game 6 by like 30 odd, and having like a decent lead at the start of game 1. And they were up by like 15 at the start of game 1. They just turned it off.
Yeah,
I think him getting hurt cost them the finals.
Yeah,
and
and
yeah,
Bam getting
back
and
in that
Bam
logic.
too.
And Bam too. I think it's just the guard, the mismatches of the guard would have been so beneficial to have.
yeah.
You know, Goran Dragic still had a positive plus minus
He
in
did.
that last game. Yeah,
Good on him.
Yeah. Next one is Lakers are lucky they dodged the Clippers.
That's
If a team's bad enough to
I
blow a
say-
3-1 lead, I think they're
Oh,
bad enough to say like the Lakers would have beaten them easy.
But I
If
think
they-
I think we discredit Denver in saying that.
yeah.
do.
And I think if they had have met the Clippers early, I'd say yes. But if they had have met the Clippers late, I would have been like, no.
I think the key factor in why Denver bet, and we've said this in the other podcasts, Zubac versus Jokic. I'm taking Jokic every single day.
100%.
I'm taking
Every
Jokic
single
with one
day.
arm behind his back.
Absolutely. I think that was the key thing. I think if they match up with any other team, it's if Clippers ran into any other team, they're in the Western Conference Finals. And if they play Lakers, I think it was genuinely could have gone either way.
Well, yeah, but see, the way Paul
Paul
George was playing,
Yeah.
and also Kawhi in that last series just got tired. You could see
He was the only player.
That's a real
Yeah.
problem for him, isn't it? He doesn't have the body, doesn't have the engine to play long series, does he?
No, he likes to get it done, and if it doesn't get done, he's a little bit.
Tired. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing for him, I think. He needs to
yeah.
work on. He's always load management. That's his thing.
Yeah, and the Clippers aren't happy with that
I
one
was
either.
going to say, I actually read that today. Lou Will, Montrezl Harrell, and who was the other one I said, Brad?
Probably Pat Bev.
Pat Bev. They were very pissed off about him being able to control his own load management.
And he lived in San Diego, which is not
Exactly,
too far
that was the other thing as well.
Not too far from LA. I think it's.
But supposedly it made him late for team flights a lot.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
We just kind of talked about this too, but Jimmy Butler is now a top 10 player.
I was going to say, I missed this part because I cut out. But I want to hear what you guys said about that.
We had trouble. We could slot him in, but it would be right on 10 or just below.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say true.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he's definitely in
Right
the
on the
conversation,
cusp.
so I'm gonna say true.
He has the possibility to be.
I reckon if you put him all 1-on-1, he would definitely be just because he's so much better of a
Like
two-way player.
if you saw him on someone's top 10 list, would you be like, he shouldn't be there?
If he's
'Cause I think I'd
third,
be
then
like,
probably.
okay.
But
I think
Yeah, but
the big thing is,
and we're not talking all time, just at the moment.
I just don't. We haven't been able to watch him for a whole season. you know what I mean? If he can, I don't know if it. My words aren't coming out. The way he was in the finals, it was evident that he got tired.
yeah, he's played 42 odd minutes.
It'll be
a game.
interesting to see how he leads a team for a whole season in terms of his body, how everything like that.
Could you even
pans
just
out.
put on a few 76ers games from that season? He was the key driving force for that, and that was their best year by a lot.
Yeah.
So he's weirdly going to be underrated this season as well. This coming season,
I think he'll also be very overrated by some.
overrated.
Yeah, at the same time, yeah.
He's going to be in that weird little grey area.
You'd think the one thing he does not. I'm not saying cop criticism for it, but it's mentioned. He's not a jump shooter, but he showed in this series in the whole playoffs. I think he must have just spent the entire how long was 3 months off, just shooting corner threes because he was reliable from the corner. Late in the shot clock, he would hit them he hit one with AD in his face. He can hit threes now. It's not safe to say Jimmy Butler's not a reliable shooter because he.
I was going to say
showed
that sentence becomes, instead of him not being a reliable shooter or have a jump shot, it just shows that it's not his first option.
Yeah, because he wants
He's
to
got
get to
such
the
a
rim
large
and create
arsenal.
contact.
Yeah.
Which he does really well, create contact and get free throws, which is arguably more dangerous. If you're getting another team in foul trouble.
James Harden would agree with that.
Yeah.
The next one is Miami goes back to the finals within the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they keep Bam, Hero, Duncan, Kendrick
And
Nunn
get
keeps
Giannis.
improving. If they get Giannis, then yes.
They get Giannis, absolutely. I'm going to say...
Yes.
Yeah, in
I'm
the
going
next 3
yes.
years, I'm going to say
Fucking
yes.
Oh wait,
I'm gonna
finals.
say false because there's a little man named Kevin Durant coming back.
Did you say finals or playoffs?
Get back to the finals.
Oh, that's actually very different.
What about KD in the East?
KD's in the East now.
I thought in my head, I think footy, and I go finals is just playoffs.
No. Oh yeah, they're getting playoffs every single year the next 3 years, unless a big injury happens.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna back them to get into the finals. I hope not because I hope Boston will make it the next 3 years. But I think they're definitely capable.
KD's 31.
Oh, so he'll be I think his game style is good enough to.
He's still got 3 years of high level.
Yeah,
top 10, top 5.
What KD are we going to get? Are we going to get the same KD as he was before the injury?
I hope so.
I hope so, but And Achilles
And he also-
injuries can
Take 2
really,
years.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the last one is Lakers win back to back. False.
It's okay. It's possible,
Oh, anything's
but
possible.
seeing the teams that are being constructed and the teams that already exist that could do a lot better next year. I don't know. I feel like there's teams that are going to play to their strengths better, and they've got that depth that the Lakers don't really have at the moment.
They don't have real depth. Yeah.
It'll be
Miami,
it'll be the off-season movement that'll decide that.
100%.
Yeah, I'm
At
not
the
gonna-
very least, it'll be a lot more difficult for them next season.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
they've
same
got
way for now.
a Golden State coming.
Golden State.
You gotta
They
add
keep the
Golden
same
State
team.
to
the Chicago Bulls.
Oh, yeah,
They're
obviously.
coming.
If they
Yeah, but,
keep
like,
the
for
same
high
team, it's a
draft
no.
pick, legitimately. Yeah, no, it has to be like.
Looks
if they
like they'll
keep the
add one
same
more
team-
player, one more big
and
player.
they've got to shed like some. I don't know, like what the.
Got to shed a
fuck-
Kuzma, a Danny Green.
What's JR doing
Fallon,
there?
Horton, Tucker.
Like,
Because they can't
Dudley.
keep that same team and then try and
Can't expect to win with a team like that.
No, not again. Like, there's no fucking way. Especially when you've got like the Nets are gonna be a powerhouse next year, and they were just like not even really
They made the
considered this
playoffs
year.
without their top 3 players.
Exactly. And then next year is gonna be fucking insane. You're gonna hate me, but Mavericks, okay, that they played well this year, and I think next year
they'll
Luka's
only
getting
improve.
better.
The Mavericks can only
Luka's
improve.
only getting better.
But
Kristaps is only getting
That's
better.
what I was going to say. I reckon the duo to watch next season will be Porzingis and Doncic.
Yeah, good
'Cause
call.
both of them are getting better and playing off each other's strengths perfectly. And maybe they get some new players, not necessarily Giannis, but Giannis would be nice. But if it's not Giannis, they would get some kind of movement there to give them that extra depth. Although I do think they've got pretty good supporting players at the moment, good enough that it'll hold them up, and they could actually be a legitimate threat. But I think that's the problem, is that there's a lot of teams like that where it's like, if they make one change, or they might have already made the change, but if they make that change, then they could be
Bulls.
like Bulls.
Bulls,
Legitimately, Lockie, I don't want to get your hopes up, but they legitimately could do something over the next couple of years.
Who is it
Eighth seed.
in the West? Who is dropping out of the playoffs? Because someone is for Golden State. The automatic thing you'd go to would be the 8th seed, which would be Blazers, but the Blazers didn't have a full strength team all year.
So the thing with Blazers is
Clippers.
actually they'll go into my bold predictions. Don't worry, but it would have to be.
Because you can't go to 7th seed, 'cause that's Dallas.
Mavs could be a year off.
Dallas is
Mavs-
jumping up again, you'd expect. Then you go
You
Utah.
would think so.
Maybe
Utah might.
Houston.
Utah just got old. You look at the age of
Yeah.
their roster; they just got old.
Especially if they get rid of Conley, who was massive for them.
And Donovan Mitchell was playing amazing basketball in the bubble.
That came down to supporting cast, and like Lockie called that one so early in the series for that one. Utah versus thing.
And-
It's got to be supporting cast. And
So it's pretty fair to say Donovan Mitchell was the only reason that they were doing that well, like in that little run there, right at the end there.
him and Gobert.
Yeah,
Him and
and
Gobert.
it's just
Jingles
human.
didn't
It's
help.
human for him not to be able to do that for a whole season. That's not possible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair
he's
call.
not.
Especially
So
Kobe in
they
2006.
do have Bogey back, but
Boogie.
That's a big out, actually. Yeah.
but yeah, I don't.
Oh,
Is it
okay.
Bogey?
See, duh.
Is it
That's who's
Bogdanovic?
dropping out. Don't worry. I
Okay,
figured
so
out
he's
who's
dropping out.
They're dropping
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
They're dropping out of the playoffs. Let's end the conversation.
Especially
So-
if they get rid of Chris Paul.
Yeah, they're going to go Chris Paul and Adams. Adams is going somewhere.
Danilo is.
Apparently
Come
they're
over to
trying
Bulls, Adams. Come over here.
Apparently
That
they're
would be
really
nice.
struggling to find a partner for Adams because he's not a modern center.
Yeah, no range.
I would have him. I think everyone would be
Most
happy to have
teams should
Adams.
he'll jump on a contender and he'll get you like 15 and 12 a night on most nights.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What we need to do is we need to do My League on 2K. We'll do it before PS5 because not everyone's getting a PS5. But we need to do one where we rebuild our own teams after
That's not
this
fair.
season.
Yeah, all I have to do is
Yeah.
just simulate the
Brad
first-
just and Mitch as well, and
and you.
2K.
So
2K
really-
hates Miami.
It's
2K
a
hates
lucky
Miami.
He's the only
series.
one with a challenge.
And yeah, yours too, Chinnick. Yours will be good too. Sorry, Lucky, this is all
Okay,
on you. You
I
have to
just
do
thought
it.
it'd be
No,
a
I'm
fun
winning, bro.
idea.
Kobe's
Kobe.
fucking gonna shoot threes, baby. Look out.
I have to tell you, I watched the scrimmages. Zach Levine's getting traded. He was awful. He was shit. He
Really?
was shit.
Kobe
He
was
put up
killing Zach in the scrimmages big time.
Yeah.
Zach Levine was
Really?
like looking
Yeah.
around for help, and like he just wasn't invested at all. His defense, he
Are they
tried
on
on
YouTube?
defense. It's on Facebook, and
I'm gonna have to watch those.
I don't know YouTube, but Zach Levine gave up every single play. As soon as he
Yeah.
started getting put to sleep, he gave her a screen. He's like, I'm not doing it. Kobe was cooking him.
Yeah.
That's the last you see of Levine in somewhat of a Bulls uniform, or
You
maybe
reckon?
wait until the trade deadline. But,
So Adam,
Oh, I'm just watching
has
the game winner.
an expiring contract. He's got a 27.5 million for this year, and then he's a free agent in 21. He could be a lot of teams who say we want Giannis. Like maybe the Lakers would go after him and play if they can afford it. Have AD at the 4, Adams at the 5. I think Miami would be interested in having, if they don't get Giannis, having Bam at the 4 and having maybe Gobert or Adams at the 5. Golden State could definitely have a handy, and Boston have Adams at the 5 easily.
fine, I'll take him.
Dallas,
They can have
I think
Wiggins.
Dallas having Kristaps at the 5 would be, at the 4 and Adams at the 5 would be real scary.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know, where he would be best suited. He literally could go anywhere, and he's
just so tough because of
Like-
his lack of range.
you'd think he's just
Clogs it up a lot.
Andre Drummond, who's a little bit worse at rebounding, but a little bit meaner, a little bit scarier. You'd want to fight him a little bit less in a fight. Maybe a lot less. I think I'd definitely prefer to fight Drummond by
Personally, I'd prefer to fight Drummond.
dude, no, you know what I mean, though.
2 or 3 inches taller than him.
Yeah, but I don't.
Sorry,
I
guys,
think
no more
Adams is
Mitch's
scarier.
multis, but instead you get Connor's Fight Club. Who would he beat in a fight?
I think I could definitely take Kuzma. At least to,
I think so.
At least to at least be on decisions. I wouldn't get knocked out by Kuzma.
No, Kuzma.
Hurts, you almost got
Kuzma
knocked
is
out by
like
a
fake
30-year-old in the E grade.
That was because he jumped over me. That was a
Cool.
foul.
I'll
and the ref
send a
knows
text
it.
to
A
Kuzma and say,
30-year-old
when you fight Herzl, jump
A
over him.
30-year-old that was almost shorter than you.
Rough gig.
Also
do we-
slapped a Pinoy on the arm and didn't get called for the foul.
Oh, yeah, okay.
In that same game.
All right, buddy.
Do we want to move on to everyone's bold prediction for the season?
Yep,
Uh-huh.
I've got one
All
lined
right,
up.
all right,
Lucky
Lucky, go
start.
first.
Okay, Phoenix Suns are making it past 6th seed.
Shit.
Is my bold prediction.
Not against
Yeah.
that.
Shit, that's
just-
a lot.
Yeah,
I'd like to take him.
yeah, look, okay, it is a pretty bold claim from me, but here's my argument, okay? Team chemistry has shown, especially this off season, that team chemistry is so important in today's NBA. Miami Heat has one of the best team chemistries, and another team I think of for team chemistry is Phoenix Suns. They play so well together. This season they showed that too, even though they didn't win, they didn't win too many games. They have totally the potential to make it into playoffs, and I reckon they could make 6th seed.
Yeah, well, that's 100% they could. You look at DeAndre Ayton, he missed the first 25 games, a bit of a
Yeah, a bit of a
issue,
yeah,
but bit of an issue, but I definitely think that they're a better chance than they're expected to, just mainly because of that. They missed their second best player was missing for the first 25
yeah.
games.
I think the only thing, and the same reason no one wants Adams, I think they're going to really struggle to play Aiton late in games if it's close.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
it
they,
turns to a shootout, he's a okay shooter. I don't trust him enough yet, but he could be working on that right now, make a fool out of us all, and get
Yeah.
get
Wouldn't
six
surprise
seed.
me either. Young pups are working so hard these days.
Yeah, especially Donovan Mitchell.
And
he
you
sets the
guys,
tone.
know
not
I
Donovan
rate
Mitchell.
Ricky
Booker.
Rubio. I rate Kelly Oubre a lot, and
Everyone
obviously
rates Kelly Oubre.
and obviously Devin Booker. Like, what's the you gotta love it. You gotta love it. That's my bold prediction.
I'm biggling for
Lo-
Booker,
lo-
baby.
I'm bigger than for Booker.
Lockie's big prediction. You gotta love it.
You gotta love it. All right.
You gotta love it.
Let's hear one from Mitch. Mitch.
I don't know if this is actually like a big prediction as such, but I'm going to go along the same sort of lines as Lockie did, just in terms of where a team's going to finish. And I reckon
Phoenix
We're
top
gonna
6
see-
in the
we're going to see, yeah, the Suns. No, we're going to see Brooklyn finish at the 1 seed.
Oh.
I just think that they're just going to be too good offensively,
Fucking rate that.
especially with Steve Nash running that offense, and two players that are now like-minded. They've got Kyrie has that stigma, but him and KD already have such a tight-knit relationship. Like, you can just see it.
Yeah, they've
And I
got
think
chemistry from the FIBA.
They are going to be one of the scariest teams to watch, just purely because they're elite.
Mhm.
And I think Steve Nash will be quite good for them defensively as well. Just in terms of in defensive setups and stuff. Like, I know a lot of their players are those offensive just ballers, and they might lack on the two-way side. But I think with Steve Nash in their ear, I think we're going to see some pretty good stuff. And when they're wearing these jerseys,
Oh, yeah. Those are nice.
I don't know.
They are
if
very
they're
nice.
going to be able to
With it.
lose. I think I'm going to pick up a KD one, but yeah, I think we're going to see the Nets finish top seed and KD top 3 MVP.
Fucking love that.
So that was kind of two, but they were mixed.
No, that's cool. No, that's good. That's good.
That's-
Who you?
I'll handball it
tagging?
off to we're going Chinnick.
Okay.
Giannis
Oh,
to
no
the
one's-
Mavs.
I've got another one as well. I've got another one for after.
No one's going to be shocked by me talking about the Mavericks.
What?
I know, right? Who even knew I went to the
Nowitzki?
Mavericks?
Nowitzki?
Nowitzki. My bold prediction is, I guess it's not really that bold. Just that Mavericks are probably going to be a higher up team next year than they were this year. I think. Were they 7th seed in the end?
Yeah, that was
7th,
7.
right? Oh yeah, they were because they played Clippers. I think they could easily move into the top 4. I don't want to be bold and say 1. Obviously, I hope that it would happen, but I don't think that's going to happen. Not when there's, Lakers and Blazers and Rockets to go up against. But, I definitely think they're going to be considered more of a force next year, especially like we said earlier. Doncic and Porzingis are both progressing more and more. You could see in the bubble, even as the more they played, the more they looked like they were sort of getting in sync. And like Lockie said, they're definitely going to be a duo to watch. But individually, their skill is only going up from here. Luka in general is just going to keep getting better and better over years to come. But I think next year will be interesting, to say the least. But I think, they'll definitely fall in the top.
Big thing with those
4.
two is KP staying healthy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
that is the problem. Because it's not that... Obviously, Luka was still playing well when he was out. But when he was out, there wasn't that kind of chemistry.
So it just gives him a rest.
And that too. And that's another thing, is for Mavericks to really run to the finals, they kind of need more backups. They shouldn't be stranded if they lose Luka or KP. They should have at least one more backup, Whether that's Giannis or not, they need at least
Giannis is a
one
backup.
backup. Giannis wouldn't be the backup, but I think they need at least one other person that the team can look to sort of step up if something goes wrong, because that's where Miami had the strength. They lost two of their best three players, and they still managed to, win 2 games, which is pretty impressive. I know they had Bam back eventually, but they lost 2 of their top 3, and they still played to the level of the opposition. I think Mavericks need that backup, that depth.
All right, so bold prediction from Chinnick. Giannis on the bench for the Mavericks.
Giannis
Pretty
is
much.
sixth man of the year.
I'm thinking
Six man
Sixth man
MVP,
of the year.
Depoy.
Yeah. Yeah. All NBA team, but he's still 6th man. Yeah. I'll handball it off to Herzl, I suppose.
That's me.
That
So
is you.
Heat make the finals.
I'm thinking like there's been a bit of noise with Houston potentially saying to Philadelphia, we want Embiid. Everyone except for Harden is available. Take it. Take whatever you want.
Everyone.
Pick whatever
Get
you
Ro-
want.
Roko
Get
back.
Covington back. Yeah.
Ro- yeah,
So
Like
it definitely looks like Houston is trying to just get rid of like
they need to
everything.
get rid of Westbrook.
They're just,
So Rockets next year is just Harden and Embiid,
yeah, just
and then
Be better
the
than
No.
76ers is
Houston
like 30.
still run a
people.
smaller ball with them. So like I'm thinking if that does go through, my big call will be that I'm not sure if I'm going for Philly or Houston here. I've still haven't decided on it. So a big call will be so obviously Ben Simmons would be the focal point of Philadelphia.
It'd be fun to
Houston
watch.
get way better.
Ben Simmons is going to go into the top 5 of MVP.
Is that your bold prediction?
That's what,
Because that's a good one.
if Embiid gets traded, if they go the other way and they trade, they go for Simmons and keep Embiid, Philadelphia. Embiid is the top 5 MVP. It's one of those two. One of those two. If they trade one of them,
That's bold.
If
That's
they trade
bold.
one of those
I like
two,
that. I like that.
if they trade one of those two, because honestly, Ben Simmons with like no one else clogging the paint or as little as he can clogging the paint, he goes from like
Oh, dude.
18, 20 points a game to almost 25.
Yeah.
And like he'll still dish out his 8 assists, grab his 8 boards most nights as well. Honestly, can't see if he can improve how I hope he can improve. I can't see him not being in the conversation at least.
That's
You
that's
just need a
massive.
supporting
And
cast
then
that's
if
strong enough.
I love Embiid and Simmons together, but I think Philly's just growing tired of it. It's not working.
They'll give it one crack
They'll
with
give it-
Doc, surely. Give it
Yeah.
like 5 months with Doc.
Yeah. So that's probably not going to work.
Surely they realise it's not really the coach anymore, though, right?
Yeah.
It's too late. It's either of those people willing to change for the other.
Yeah. I don't think they should, really. I think they're both too good at what
They're
are.
almost going to wait it out until it's too late.
I think
And
the big
Embiid's
thing,
had a serious injury where he can't come back from.
I think the big thing for them to look at is just look at the games where one of them has been injured, and you can see it how well the other person has stepped up.
Well, Embiid, the team goes down, and when Embiid's injured, the team goes up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know who I'm choosing to keep.
Yeah, exactly. It's massive.
Simmons and Harden could be really
I know. I was
Interesting.
thinking that when I was saying like
two lefties.
if they keep them, I'm like fuck. If you keep Simmons and like, he's like facilitating for Harden, and as long
That's
as
so
as long as
frightening.
D'Antoni's not in
Jesus.
Houston,
And
then I think
he'd
it'll
play
be
the
fine.
4 as well, probably.
Yeah, I think, and you probably with Houston if they still have the same philosophy, he'd probably play the 5 almost.
Jesus.
Can you imagine that?
Scary.
That's
Seriously. So yeah, Brad, what's your bold prediction?
My bold prediction
Oh, here we go.
is not so much a positive one.
Oh,
I think it's going to be the only negative one. And my bold prediction is Portland Trailblazers get a month into their season and then decide to blow it up and get rid of McCollum and everyone, keep Lillard and get everything ready for 2021. I think we see Blazers completely drop off the map this year.
Imagine Dame with Giannis.
Dame with Giannis,
That's
Dame
gotta
with Kawhi, Dame with... There's a lot of potential.
Dame with
A lot of
Giannis would
potential.
just destroy the NBA.
It's over. It'd be over.
Oh, yeah.
The NBA would literally.
It's over
collapse.
until
That's it.
the east, until the semis when Giannis forgets how to play basketball.
No, but then he's got Dame.
As Vietnam flashbacks about Jimmy.
I did have one other one, and I
Go
figured I'd say it because it's a Boston-related one. I'd do it for my own team and stuff. It's kind of two. One, I think we're going to see Kemba not in a different uniform next year. I don't think we'll keep him if his injury's as bad as it was this year. Take as much as we can get for him, but I think we're going to see Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum both in top 10 MVP voting.
Ooh.
Oh, Jaylen Brown, that is like my favourite thing to think
I don't
about,
think
is
Jaylen
how
Brown
good
will
he's
get
gonna
into
be.
MVP voting. That's why it's a bold prediction.
Yeah,
Because
it's bold.
people just don't rate him for that. But we're going to see two players from Boston, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, in the MVP voting because they're both going to do so much for the team and it's going to be insane.
I've got another one as well. If we're going to go our own team, I'm going to go
Last one.
Duncan
Yeah,
Robinson,
because
most
Brad's got to
improved.
head off.
Duncan
Yeah.
Robinson, most
Wrap
improved
up
player.
after this.
You could even
Yeah.
just do him for last round and the round
MVP.
before, right? Because just the way he was actually shooting layups. And Brad, you're a big advocate
If you watched
Duncan
any
Robinson.
G League, you know that he's a complete package. He's not just a shooter.
Yeah, that's nuts. Cool. I think
Kills
We
that.
can wrap it
Alright,
up.
one
there,
more.
I think.
It's time to wrap it up.
Hang on, I got one more. No Mitch's multis either, because there's no.
I was going to say, I might, depending, when will the grand final be? Will that be before the next one?
Yeah.
The day of, I think. So.
I'm telling you right now.
Just
we're
keep
not
an
gonna
eye out
pop
on
that
the
day.
Instagram. Keep an
I'm
eye out
telling you right
for
now. I'm
Keep
not
it-
going to be up for a pop
keep-
that day.
keep an eye out on the Instagram for Mitch's multis for the AFL grand final. And also, Brad, did you want to chuck those polls that we did? Chuck those up on the Instagram so then other
Yeah,
people
let's
we
do
can see
that.
what other people think as well.
I'll do that now.
So it's at NBeanA on Instagram, Facebook, and then it's NBeanA podcast on Twitter.
Garlic
Follow
Garlic.
Garlic
Right.
Bread.
Correct.
Garlic Brad.
We're going
We'll
to start to
keep
push out
an
some
eye
new content as well for the off season. So
Exactly.
keep an eye out for that.
on the YouTube. It's NBeanA on YouTube, right?
Yep. Same shit.
We stream, we do everything. So just get on the Instagram. That's generally where you'll see
Setting
what's
up a little
happening.
blog
Instagram's the
site as
hub
well.
for everything.
Exactly.
Everything we do is on Instagram, so it's easy.
Yeah,
We're
just
setting
get
up a little
there.
blog site as well, so you can come read what we're saying as well.
Yep, we're gonna get that going.
Herzl will transcript every podcast episode.
Word for word.
Sweet.
Thanks, Herzl.
Heat in 9. The
God's
end.
work.
In 9.
Herzl's transcript is just Mitch. I reckon it's probably going to be Heat next season. Connor, yeah, I agree. Lockie, definitely Heat.
Definitely. Brad, I think we should all give Connor $10 each, just because we like it.
Oh my god.
Actually, that's a great idea, Brad. Why didn't I think of that?
Thanks, Brad, for thinking of that idea.
Lockie-
Surely we've stopped now. Stop the
Alright.
recording. He's going to keep going. He's going to
Alright, bye everyone.
That's what it is.
Yep, done.
Are you still recording that, Jimmy?
Still recording video, so I still got it.
Yeah.
So-